The fourth problem is regulations. There's a lot of state-mandated regulations, and most of them are not needed. There is no reason for them, and they're driving the cost by saying that you have to cover this, you have to cover that, you have to cover that, whether you need it or not. You don't have a choice because you're buying the whole plan. The benefit design is there, so you're paying for it whether you need it or not. And also, for example, I'm going to give you one example. Now, there's a New York State law that says if you go to an emergency room for any reason, you are only responsible, if you have insurance of course, you are only responsible for the copay, not for any other charges. So what it does is, for example, if you walk, somebody else taking care of you in the doctor in that emergency room and he's not part of the network, his bill could be anything. So he's only responsible for $50 copay, and the rest has to be paid by the insurance. And they do pay it because the state enforcing it. Right and left. There's no question. And a lot of doctors using the state as a collection agency. So this is happening all the time. My niece just recently told me 2 months ago, her son fell and cut his chin a little bit. So she took him to emergency room. They required 3 stitches. So the plastic surgeon sent the bill to the insurance company and it was paid. They just can argue it because it was useless to argue. Anybody can guess the price? Huh? Huh? It's closer. Yes, $12,000. I am not kidding. $12,000. Yes?
Any scar?
Yes, $12,000 cost just to put 3 stitches. Why? It's not worth that much, but because of the regulations, and end up costing that much. And who pays for this all? We all pay, because insurance company eventually estimate how much they paid out, and then they put their costs of running the business, and then maybe if they have any profit, they might add it to it, but usually their profit margin is about 5% most.
Yeah.
Yes, the insurance company's profit margin, if they make money that year, is about 5% most. So most of the money is not really going to insurance. I mean, a lot of the debate, a lot of talk about the insurance executives making money. Some of them they do, but the majority of the money is not going to profits or executive pays, believe me. Anyway. Now we talk about 4 problems that is increasing our healthcare costs, the major cost drivers. And the 5th one is malpractice. Somebody said it. Yes. It costs about 10 to 15% of our healthcare costs. It goes into malpractice in form of paying the premiums, because every doctor's, I would say about 10% of their income, it goes to, on average, it goes to pay the malpractice insurance. So, plus, more importantly, they spend money by doing defensive medicine. They order everything just to cover themselves. Everything, whether you need it or not. Or maybe I missed something, small something. So they order this, they order that, they order that. And eventually the costs keep climbing. That's about 15%. Our healthcare cost is consumed by the malpractice problem.
How is government responsible for malpractice?
Well, they could make rules. I mean, they can do tort reform. They're resisting doing the tort reform. They're resisting. I mean, Obama came and said, I'm not going to touch the tort reform. That's a major, major mistake.
What form?
Tort reform. Malpractice liability insurance.
Because the lawyers fund the Democratic Party.
Yes.
Yes,
The trial
exactly.
lawyers fund the Democratic
Exactly.
Party.
That's
They're
true.
funders.
I agree with you.
And the juries have no limit as to how much they can award.
Exactly. Yeah. And the prices keep going up. I mean, if you look at California, if you look at Texas, where they have a cap on they have a cap on non-economic damages, like for suffering, pain and suffering, it's $250,000, that cap. Because of that cap, the insurance premium for doctors in California and Texas is half of what we pay here. Yes. So, I mean, you can talk about it in another video. It's a big subject. And the last cost of the 6th problem cost driver. It's drug cost. Really, there's a huge 10% of our healthcare cost goes to the drugs. Yes.
There's something that's going through my mind because I commend you on what you've done and you figured out a great way of controlling the costs and you have all the drivers figured out. So it just makes me think that the whole debate on healthcare is really not what this debate is about.
No.
And we're having a discussion about something that I think is almost has nothing to do with what's going on in the world today because, and I just want to hear what your thought is on this because this is about government control. This isn't about healthcare. Healthcare is the vehicle that they're using. And anyone can, any doctor, I mean, you're a very bright man and you've taken this way of doing it, but I think any physician can tell me exactly what you're telling me and there's a bunch of people that can do this. But this isn't the issue. The healthcare costs and controlling healthcare costs is not what we're complaining about. It's not what we're arguing about. It's not what society's debating. And I mean,
they're telling you this is the cost, so we have to control it, and then they start controlling.
Okay, but they don't want to control the costs. That's the point. They want to control the
No, yeah.
Okay.
I agree. But the cost is the excuse.
It's
Yeah.
right.
The cost is the excuse.
The cost is an excuse, but my point is all of this stuff that we're talking about, and we could use as talking points to go to debate with Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, anyone who may or may not disagree on any of these points, can come across and they can use these points. But the point is we're having a debate about something that's not the issue today. We're having a debate that's dividing people rather than uniting people. And all that we're doing by sitting here and listening to this, in my opinion, is sitting here and listening to something that's only taking a country of people who believe in a constitution or had a constitution or had a rule of law and dividing them. And we're just using this as a tool. And by the way, this administration is using healthcare. The last administration used the war on terror.
Well, anyway, the last point I was trying to make, the sixth cost driver is the pharmacy cost. We're spending about 10% of our healthcare costs on the pharmacy side. That's a huge number too. And I mean, you can buy the generic version of every drug available now, up to 97, 98% of the drugs. And they come like $3 a month cost, most, $4.
I have a question for Dr. Wicks.
Yes,
Can you wait till he finishes?
and I think if people, they, you know, I don't think anybody should really pay for people who wants to buy brand name drugs because they cost about 20 times more. So they should be mandatory generic drug cost. If it's not available, it should be, you know, those that are not available should be covered.
But are you saying that we should pay for people that want to buy generic drugs?
No, what I'm saying that if your insurance is covered, they should cover only generic drugs. So this way the cost will come down and make it mandatory if necessary, you know. But if people want to buy the brand name drug, I think they should pay from their pocket. It should not be everybody else joining that to pay for it. And some people, they love to brand name drugs, so, and everybody else who's buying generic drugs is actually paying for them. I mean, I had one patient came to me, she was on 4 brand name drugs. She was paying $120 copay, and her insurance company was paying $500 a month for her drugs. And I switched her to 4 generic drugs. The cost was $13. She paid $0, and the insurance company paid $13, and she had much better control of her diabetes and cholesterol and high blood pressure and everything else.